Alright guys, this is video number 2 of the PJ series. The first one went well, and I looked at it a little bit. There was a couple of critiques that I tried to adjust in this one, try to be a little more informative on why I choose certain selections of exercises. For shoulders, this is the toughest one of all of them because, as you saw in my MRI in the last video, my shoulder is an absolute mess. I'm very limited to what I can do. I have to do a lot of warming up too, lots of very light laterals, abduction, adduction moves. We'll get into all the descriptions of that. We always show the clock, and in all these videos I'm going to show the clock so you guys can see how fast that I train. Alright, I've never had good posterior delts, so I start all my workouts with posterior delt exercises when I'm fresh. Also, this is the area that bothers me the most in my training. This is where the most pain is. So when I'm fresh in the beginning, I count these as working sets. The weights, I assume you would say, oh, well, these are very light, you know, warm-up weights, but I'm actually counting these because that area is very, very delicate to me. So I like to get a lot of blood in there first. Reverse pec deck, I superset with a high pull with the rope. The key on these is you want to have your hand in this position, palm to the floor. If you turn your thumb all the way down, like some people do, you actually disengage the posterior delt. It's all traps, rhomboids when you do that. So you want to have your hand in this position, palms to the floor. It's very important that your arms are 90 degrees also. And I come over here to the rope, the high pull. The most important one on this is that you keep those elbows really, really high. You want to concentrate on pulling back with your rear delt, not just pulling back with your arms. So once you get the hang of it, you can do it. It's just a short little squeeze of a motion. I don't really think that this is something that I could say is really going to put any mass on anybody, but it's a very good way to get blood back there. Now, once I am pre-fatigued, I go into my bent over dumbbell laterals. This is a specific posterior delt isolation move, and what I've been doing lately is a form of a side lateral raise, which is still going to hit the medial head a lot, but you'll notice that I'm already internally rotated, and I'm keeping my pinkies really high, and I'm actually still engaging the posterior delt the way that I do this. And I don't come up any higher than 90 degrees. Your trap's kicking a lot when you do that. And you'll see that I keep that. It almost looks awkward, like I'm almost coming backwards with it, but it stimulates the posterior delt still when you do it like that. This is just another angle of those bent over dumbbell laterals. So, like I said, I never had good posterior delts, so I like to prioritize them as much as possible in my training. I really can't go heavier than maybe like 30 pounds with these dumbbells. It really, really bothers me to do any more than that. Plus, when you go too heavy, your back kicks in and you start squeezing muscles in the back that you don't want to. I usually do about 4 sets of the reverse pec deck superset with the rope, and I usually do about 4 sets of these. So like I said, it's a lot of volume. We're not going to show you guys all the sets. It'll be a very long and boring video if we do that. We just want to get you guys a feel for the exercises I choose, why I choose them. You'll never see me pressing first. I do think all you young guys out there should get into military presses, dumbbell presses, things like that. And I think that you should build that foundation of pressing strength in the beginning of your workouts. But for me at this point, it's mostly injury prevention. Plus, I do like to be fatigued in all the heads of my delts first. I think we showed this guy. This guy's always bugging me in the gym. Gotta be nice to everybody in the gym. So this machine's really cool because you don't have to worry about your forearms getting tired, and you can just focus on the delts, the squeeze at the top. I use this to do drop sets on. So it's not something that I'm going to sit in and like really focus on, you know, busting out heavy weights. I'll pick a weight that I can get for about 15 reps, failing at 15 reps, and then I'll cut the weight down and bust out some more reps to failure. Just another way to really fry out those medial delts. You know, a lot of guys, they're afraid to use machines. They're afraid to use cables. They think, oh, like that's for pussies, like real men use free weights. But that's a mistake because a lot of these machines, utilized the right way, you can isolate muscles and really focus on getting as much blood into those muscles as possible. And that's the stuff that I believe really helps you grow and really helps bring out extra detail too when you're dieting. I do think that there's a place for heavy weights. I trained heavy my whole career, and a lot of it is also based around what you have injured and what you don't. But don't neglect these machines. The next exercise we're going to do after these drop sets is a variation of a hammer strength shoulder press. So now you're going to see me sitting backwards in here. This first set is just a little warm up just to get used to the motion and the position of the seat. But what I do is I position myself backwards, and I get a good arch going in my back, keep my core tight, and it's very similar to doing like a standing military press or even a seated military press, because you're keeping the weight in front of you, but it's much safer on the actual shoulder joint. Now, the biggest problem that people have when they are training heavyweight with shoulders is that external rotation can be very dangerous on the joint. If you keep that weight right in front of you, like you see here from this angle really clearly, that weight is perfectly in front of me. I can't externally rotate and get my shoulder out of position. This is a really tough exercise. Done the right way, it burns very bad, especially after you've done a lot of laterals like that. But it's really good variation of a pressing move. Can't go too heavy on these, especially at the pace that I go. And the amount of volume that I do first. Sitting the other way, I can probably do about 345s on each side for maybe a good 8 to 10 reps. But facing this way, I'm good for maybe a 45 and a 25 tops. It's considerably harder like this. Moving on from here, I'm going to go to a cable side lateral. Now with this one, I do 3 sets, right? But it's all continuous. So everything else I'm doing 4 sets. But this one, I'm starting with a lightweight. I'm shooting for 20 reps. As soon as I hit 20 reps, I turn around and I do the other arm, and I don't stop. So I go through this 3 times. This is just another way to really fry the medial delts. I do think that it's important that you do a little extra work for the medial delt. Everybody gets caught up in pressing moves, but the more meat you have in your medial delt, the wider you're going to look. So your taper will be better, your waist will look smaller. You really can't do enough for the medial delt. So we're not going to show me just going through this 3 times. You get the picture. I'm going to do my dumbbell presses. Now you'll notice I don't have the seat at a 90-degree angle. This is key. I made sure that I stopped here to give myself the chance to explain this. Now, like I said earlier with the hammer strength presses, the main problem that people have with shoulder injuries is that external rotation of the shoulder with heavy weights causes a lot of rotator cuff tears, labrum tears, all kinds of bad things. Now, if you keep yourself just at a slight incline like this, you can get yourself in position where you're still able to press in front of you, okay? And you're not going to externally rotate the shoulder at an awkward angle and risk injuring yourself. You will stimulate your chest a little bit, which is fine because you're stimulating the chest at the top, and I've never met anyone in my life who had too much upper chest mass. But you're cutting the risk of injury out, and you're not working the delt any less. That's what I think is the most important thing people realize. You're not working the delt less by being at that angle. I wasn't even able to do dumbbell presses at all after I first hurt myself, so I'm really happy to be able to do these again because these were my favorite shoulder exercise. The heaviest I've gone so far was actually in this video. I've gotten myself up to about 70 pounds now. You can actually see the difference between my right side and my left side. The right side is the injured side. You can see I'm not coming down quite as far. It's still very stiff for me, and it's considerably weaker. I mean, I can go all day with the safe side with this weight, but you know, I'm just trying to simulate everything as much as possible. I was really tired in this particular workout. I wasn't feeling too good today. Hopefully I feel better in the other workouts for you guys. I was getting a little nauseous here at the end for some reason. I think I was coming down with something, but I hit a couple poses. I'm getting leaner. You know, I'm on track for where I want to be for, you know, mid-November. I'm going to show you guys a couple really good finishing moves. Okay, this particular one, I don't have any fancy name for it. You don't really see people doing these too often. I just call them dumbbell circles because you're going in a circular motion. The key to this is to never stop the tension. So right when I get to the bottom, before I relax, I start coming back up again. So it's constant tension the entire time, and you'll notice that my thumbs are up. This burns your delts so intensely bad. It's such a good finishing exercise, and you're getting it all the way through. You're getting anterior delt, you're getting medial delt, and you're even hitting some posterior delt, especially when you pre-exhaust everything. We'll just show you guys from the back so you can see what it looks like from the back. You'll see all the heads of my delts are engaging. If I was a little leaner, you'd see even a little bit more, but I'm lean enough where you can see everything firing pretty hard. And this looks easy, I'm sure, because it's only, I think, a 10 or a 12-pound dumbbell. But let me tell you something, these are brutally hard at the end of your workout. Brutally hard. What I used to do, which I still suppose I could do, I'm not that injured, is I would drop the dumbbells and I would actually just do it very, very slow with no weight when I was done. That's just a way to continue the set, prolong the time under tension. But this is a really cool finisher. I encourage you guys to try this one. I think you'll like it a lot. And then from here, we did one final exercise. I actually don't do these. It's not a regular exercise for me, but Trevor, social media guy, has suggested I throw these in, and it was a good idea. It's good to teach people because this is something that you don't see every day, something that Trevor likes. This is a hammer strength incline machine, but I'm standing in it doing a single arm shoulder press. It's very cool because you can really isolate the area. You don't have to worry about balancing a weight, the stabilization, because it's a stable machine, and it's very, very smooth. So this is another one that I encourage you guys to try. You can use it as a finisher, like I am here. Or you could probably use this a little bit earlier in your workout and just get a little bit more weight behind it. I do think it's important that you control the negative as much as possible. Really, really control it on the way down. And you can use a little bit more of an explosive motion on the way up. But all these isolation stuff, these tricky, weird moves, and the stuff that looks kind of easy, but when you try it, you realize it's not. It's awesome to add these things into your workout routines. Like people get stuck into doing the same stuff all the time, guys. And the variety is key. You'll hear me say it. Everything works sometimes, but nothing works all the time. So I encourage the variety. And that's it. I think I'm going to hit a pose here at the end. I was very, very tired. Not ready to take the shirt off and show you guys what I look like yet. I think we'll get to that in one of the later videos. I think the next one that you guys will see after this is back. So thank you guys for following along. The Beat PJ code still works for discount on both companies. 20% off on both, I believe. Don't quote me on that. But there's the clock showing you that was a 45-minute workout. Everything was done in 45 minutes. So thanks a lot, guys.